Today, we're going to spend the rest of our time dealing with the subject found in the book of St. John, chapter 12, verse 31 through 33. This is what it says. Now judgment is upon this world. Now the prince of this world will be cast out. When I am lifted up from the earth, will draw everyone to myself. He said this to indicate the kind of death he was going to die. This is Jesus. He had been to Bethany with Lazarus and Mary and Martha. The next day he left and he went into Jerusalem, and there they welcomed him, putting palms out as he came on a young colt, riding on a little donkey, coming into town, and they were praising and shouting, glad hosannas, glory to God, and just worshiping and praising him. And this was about 5 days before the Passover, and by the time the Passover came, they were crucifying him. The same people who were out there saying, Hosanna. A few days later, because of the religious folk, misguided religious folk, they were saying, crucify him. Crucify him. Now, what I want to do today for the remainder of our time is to talk about the need to preach the cross. The need to preach the cross. To preach Jesus Christ and him crucified. What does it mean? What does it gain? What do we accomplish by spending more time preaching about Jesus and him crucified? Now, the first thing, and I told Peggy last night, I said I probably might stir up a little controversy because I'm not going to explain myself so much, so I'm just going to say it, is that we don't preach the cross, but when we do preach it in its entirety and with clarity, the only people that get upset or get offended are religious folk. Religious people, or those people, or religious is not what you are, but it's what you do. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of folk that were there in the crowds when Jesus was being crucified who were religious. The followers, the crowd is out there, those people really didn't know Jesus. They had heard about some of the things that he had done, but look how fickle they are. 1 minute we're talking about he healed somebody. No, this guy, he's just now coming from Lazarus' house in Bethany where he raised him from the dead after being in the tomb for 4 days. That's right. And they were all excited. Mm-hmm. Let's go see Jesus. Let's go see Jesus. And a few days later, here the same folks are, let's crucify him. Because they have been persuaded by the voice of the religious folk. And so if they had known him, if they had been in the inner circle like Philip was and like Mary and Martha, Lazarus, if they had been with them and known Jesus, they wouldn't have been in that crowd talking about crucify him. They valued him. They understood some of what he came to do. They loved him. Mm-hmm. But those folk were only there to get what they could get from Jesus. And when the Pharisees said, oh no, he's causing division. Mm-hmm. He's getting you to leave Judaism and go after this new thing they're trying to call Christianity. So we need to stop him. He's worse than Barabbas, the one who caused an insurrection against the Roman Empire. Mm-hmm. Let's kill him. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's kill him. That's because they didn't know him. But Jesus knew, he said, he told him, he said, now, when I am lifted up, there's no doubt about it, it's going to happen. When I be lifted up from the earth, I'm going to draw all men unto me. Now, I had to sit down for 1 minute to pray and ask God for a subject for today before it came loud and clear to me. Just rushed in. And God said, listen, preach the cross. Preach about Jesus. Why? Because it's the most necessary thing to do in Christianity is to tell people about Jesus so they can not just know about him, but introduce him so they can know him. We need to know him for ourselves. If you understand that all of the cross is about is the sacrifice and the suffering, it's not just the physical being lifted up, but we need to lift him up by praising him, by worshiping him, by telling everybody about his goodness and his grace and all of the wonderful things. That's how you lift Jesus up. Some people, we've gotten to the place in this country where we've gotten browbeaten so bad till we start to do it ourselves. We start to do just what the sinners are doing. I listen to folks sometimes, and I'm gonna call them religious people. And I have to stop them sometimes. I say, man, stop doing that in front. You realize how many new Christians that don't understand and know a lot about Jesus? Do you realize the damage you're doing by speaking negatively about a person because of their political affiliations? How you gonna hook him up and associate him with a devil? A devil ain't never healed nobody's eyes from who had been blind from birth, now they're 40 years old or whatever. But you can lie and perpetuate it for so long, people start believing that. So our job is not to put down people in Christianity. If you see somebody in Christianity and they're doing all kind of crazy, stupid stuff, you know, even the ones that's fleecing people, taking all their money, leave them alone. See, you could be dressed up as a wolf in sheep clothing, but somewhere along the line, when that shepherd starts shearing, somewhere along the line, he's going to get to you. When you start howling and jumping and say, whoa, wait a minit, I'm really not a sheep. Well, it's too late now. You should have been here pretending to be one. Because the cover coming off, I'm going to shave you to tear him down. Now, of course, if the danger is approaching you, or the danger is approaching one of your fellow brothers or sisters, you warn them. What he said, do is stay with the truth. Lift Jesus up.
I didn't make the video. I made the video. I know.